Hey basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about the skills that you're going to need from the year 2020 all the way up until the year 2029. So let's get down to it. So I've been around recently a lot of professional basketball players in the NBA, D-League, NBA, as well as some players over in Europe. I've also been around some NBA coaches recently as well. So some of the skills that they are saying that you are going to need over the next 10 years, I'm going to explain to you today. Number one is shooting. As you all know, Steph Curry brought in a new movement. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson both brought in a new movement of needing the need of three-point shots. The reason for this is because it's actually statistically better to hit or take more three-point shots than it is to take shots that are close to the rim. That's why we're seeing from 10 years ago to today a lot of mid-range shots, a couple of threes, a couple of post shots, but a lot of mid-range shots 10 years ago to now only having low post shots and three-point shots as like 95% of all shots taken in the NBA. They've ushered in a new movement of everyone understanding that taking three-point shots is statistically better to score more points. And that's what we're looking for now. So all the players, even the ones that I've trained who were not great shooters, they are now training to become great shooters. They didn't believe in it before, but now they really do believe in it, not because a professional coach is telling them, but because now they're seeing it in the numbers. If you're shooting 65% from here and you're shooting 55% from the three, well, guess what? Let's say you take 10 shots. You've got 12 points from in here at 60%. You now have 15 points from the three at 50%. So that right there, that's a 3-point difference. So that is why a lot of teams are looking for shooters. So if you're not a great shooter today, make sure to become one, because that's only going to continue. Players are quite literally, this is how NBA players, this is how European players are training right now. In Europe, they've done this for 15, 20 years. I've already known that. I know quite a few. I grew up with a lot of older people who were at the basketball court and at the YMCA who were playing over in Europe. And their practices were quite literally morning, stationary shooting. Just wetting them all, taking a few steps back. 4 hours, that's it, shooting. And then they go on to the basketball court in the afternoon, and that's when they start doing other skills. Their ball handling skills, their plays, and then they go back to shooting. That's why Dirk Nowitzki is such a great shooter. That's why Luka Doncic is a ridiculous shooter. Because they're practicing for hours every single day. So, if you want to become a very elite basketball player, you're going to need to have a three-point shot. You're going to have a very, very accurate three-point shot. And I can foresee that 36-ish% average in the NBA, I can foresee that turning into a 40 to 45 to 50% average league-wide in 10 years. Because these players, these young players, are wanting to train their shot. And I'm getting players now, as a trainer up in Hamilton, Ontario, I'm getting players right now who are contacting me saying, just teach me how to shoot. That's it. I've got players who are in high school, college, university, some European guys who are just calling me up and saying, yo, I need to learn how to shoot better. I'm in your area for 2 weeks. Teach me how to shoot. Teach me how to shoot better. We're going to do this. And that's all they care about, shooting. They don't care about, hey, I need to get better fitness to get a rebound. It's all shooting. To shoot a proper shot, I've got trillions of videos on this channel about it. But if you want to shoot a basketball better, feet shoulder width apart. If you're right-handed, right foot just a bit in front of the other. Elbow underneath the ball. When you flick the ball up, it's going to go off your middle finger. So it's going to look like this. And then that left hand, for example, is not touching the ball at all once you're releasing. Now it's quite a bit windy today, but that's why I'm not really shooting the shots in this video. But that's the basics. You can have your body squared to the basket, just like in darts, you want to be square to the basket. It's the same thing, and you want to be able to have that shot. The more arc you put on the shot, the higher chance it's going to go in. To get more arc, you're reaching up higher. If you want to have less arc, you're pushing forward, but you never want to have less arc. And then if you want to have more power, you're using more legs. Those are some basic tips, but I've got more in-depth tips on this channel, so go check those out. The second skill that you're going to need in over the next 10 years, from 2020 all the way up to 2029 to 2030, is rebounding. Rebounding is very, very important. You have to remember that, like what Kawhi Leonard said, rebounders get paid. And that's no farther from the truth. I had a player that I made a couple of highlight tapes for from the Atlanta area, who was getting upwards of 20 plus rebounds per game, but like 2 points per game. But he got a full ride scholarship. That's because we're taking so many threes that there's going to be rebounds. And if you don't know how to rebound, then you definitely need to learn how to do it today. So just some really quick tips that you can use when you're trying to get a rebound. If the shot is going up from this angle, you have a very high probability that that ball is going to bounce over towards this side. So if somebody is shooting from that side, you need to then get over to this side. Just for statistics, that's all you can really play. It's almost like gambling, or almost like playing the stock market. Statistics. Know what this individual thing, stocks or just basketball in general, what that ball is going to do statistically, and then act upon it. Now, if a player takes a three-point shot, they're obviously, that ball is not going to bounce right here, unless it's my shot because I have like a really light shot. It's most likely going to bounce out to around this distance. So you're going to want to basically box out your player so that now you have the ability to get that rebound. Now, if you've got a not necessarily stronger player, but let's say a player beat you out and he got in front of you to box you out. One of the things that you can do is not full out pushing with your hands, that's a foul, but you can push him with your body to get him underneath the basket. When he is underneath the basket, he is inert, he is finished, he's not getting that rebound, and it's your rebound. So there's some quick rebounding tips that you can use in your next game. Now this third tip is a tip that can be easily learned by pretty much every single player. This is generally the first skill that most coaches at the youth level will teach, and that is dribbling the basketball. Being able to handle that ball, and then when you get older, how to handle this ball with pressure. Now if you're a coach, there's tons of different drills that are on this channel that you can go check out. But if you're a player, again, same thing. I just recently recorded one. I don't know if it's up just yet, depending on when I post this video versus that one. But basically, being able to dribble the ball with pressure is going to be your third skill that you're going to need. We still need to get players up the court. We still need to get the basketball up the court to set up our offense. They're going to be trapping. There's going to be a lot of teams trapping. And being able to handle the ball with your right, left hand, have your head up, being able to dribble with your head up, being able to know where that ball is going to go and when you dribble, and then from there you're able to get the ball up and not get trapped, not get the ball stolen. And being able to dribble with your head up is going to allow you to get more assists as well. Now the fourth or the final tip that I'm going to show you today, or talk to you about today, is being able to beat a zone defense. There's going to be more and more zone defenses played, especially at the younger age groups. There's more and more younger leagues that are taking away the rules that you're not allowed to, or that you're allowed to run zone defenses. So basically, there's going to be more and more youth coaches who are running zone defenses because it's easier to teach, but it's not. And there's easy ways to beat it. So this is more of a tip for coaches, but also for players as well. So for players and for coaches, if you want to be able to beat a zone defense, the easiest way to do it, actually there's two really easy ways to do it. I'll show you. Number one is to get the ball in the high post. Now the reason why you want to get the ball in the high post is because in a zone, there's either 2 or 3 defenders guarding essentially the baseline. In a 3-2 zone, there's going to be 2 players, one on each block essentially. That's going to draw this player from that block up to guard this position, which is now opening up the baseline on this side for players to cut and for you to pass to. Now, in a 3-2 zone, there's also going to be a player out here, but if we could stack a player along the baseline here and a player out in the wing, we now have our ability to have that third player on the perimeter guarding one of those two players, which now you can bomb a pass down towards the baseline with the player cutting baseline. If that third player goes down, because obviously the post player is up here, you can now pass out to a player on the three-point line for a three-point shot. Now this is getting into the whole point center idea, where you have the center who's able to play a point guard type of position, running an offense, that kind of a thing. Next is being able to, beat a zone defense, is just basically attacking the gaps. So if we're running against a 3-2 zone, for example, and there's a player up top, there's a player out in this wing, there's going to be a gap here, right in the middle, basically right here, where it's going to collapse those two players onto me. And when that happens, that's now creating an opportunity for a player along the baseline, so that we can have a player out in the wing where we can pass over to. He's going to have like a wide open shot. Now, a player in the low post might be popping up just a bit as well, because he's afraid of me driving towards the key and then basically passing the ball out. That's what he's afraid of. So that could also open up an ability for us to have a player cutting baseline. So over the next 10 years, the skills you're going to need is to know how to beat a zone, and beat a zone easily. Those are 2 quick tips. Being able to shoot the ball, being able to handle the ball, and being able to rebound. Shooting the ball is number 1. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time, actually tomorrow, for another Twice a Day basketball video.